right? So anger protects that which is loved, right? Anger protects that which is loved. And when we think we have reached our limit, wonder is the act that returns us to love, right? When we think we have reached our limit, all we just need is focus on God. What would God have me do in this circumstance? What would Jesus do if Jesus was in the same circumstance with me? What will he do? Hey, Mike Akin, great having you here. Been a long while. Thanks for stopping by. So the opposite of love is not rage. Valerie says the opposite of love is not rage. The opposite of love is indifference, right? The opposite of love is not rage. The opposite of love is indifference. And we saw that in the Good Samaritan story. Those people that passed by, that man that was beaten, they couldn't be bothered about what was wrong with the man. Right? He's beaten, but I have my own business to do. Right? When we're indifferent about the things that's going on in the life of the people around us, we don't love. Right? When I cannot rejoice with someone that's rejoicing, I don't love. And I used to be there. I know how it feels. When good things are happening to other people, the person that comes to you is, what about me? When will my own call? What are they doing that I'm not doing? That's a natural thing that comes. But again, don't remember, love is a decision. So I decide to rejoice with that person, irrespective of what is going on in my own life. Because there's power in that ancient wisdom that I should rejoice with those that rejoice. Whether I feel like it or I don't feel like it, I rise up to the occasion and I rejoice. And it's not a facade. I rejoice from the depth of my heart for that person, with that person. That God has done this in your life. We give thanks to God for you. And the power in that wisdom is that as I am rejoicing with that person, it is a prayer to God. God is seeing the heart that is rejoicing, and God is receiving it as a prayer that your own will come. If you cannot rejoice, that which you cannot rejoice with other people for, you will not have, because you are telling God you don't want it yourself. There is wisdom in the ancient wisdom that says, rejoice with those that rejoice. You rise up to it. You don't compare yourself. It's not about you at that point in time. It's about that person that is rejoicing. You give that person the benefit of the occasion. You rejoice with that person with all sincerity from your heart. That is a sincere prayer that goes to heaven. Heaven sees your heart and heaven hears it. It's not how you feel, but it's being there. You must not feel indifferent to someone that's rejoicing. You rejoice with that person. You must not feel indifferent to someone that is sorrowing. You sorrow with that person, irrespective of what is going on in your own life. Even when the best thing has happened to you, you are just married. Someone is sorrowing, you come down to that person's level and sorrow with that person, with sincerely from your heart. Because that is the gift we hold to one another. It's not about you at that point in time. It's about that person. And God sees your heart and hears the prayer, because it is a prayer, right? So the opposite of love is not rage. It's indifferent. When I love, I am concerned about other people in my life. I am not just concerned about my own business. I am concerned about other people in my life, right? Love engages all our emotions. Love engages all our emotions, right? And in all of this, we know this love, we're human, right? When we love, I'm able to shut down the other things that might be counter to love, right? Once I focus on the benefit of the other person, it's not about what I'm going to get from it, but it's about me blessing that person, right? Love engages all our emotions. Joy is a gift of love, like we read earlier on. It's a repetition in all of that. I guess the most important part is the fact that, that the opposite of love is indifference from that. Valerie goes on and goes on and says, love is more than a rush of feeling. We've talked about that. It says, love is sweet labor. Uh, important part is the last part there. It says a choice. Love is a choice we'll make over and over again. It's a bit of repetition of what I've read before. Let's go on to this one. It says right relationship is knowing that we are interconnected with one another, right? We're interconnected with one another. Whether we know it or not, we're interconnected with one another. Whether I rejoice with someone or not, or sorrow with someone or not, we're interconnected together, because we come from God. Again, we come from God. And what happens to someone else affects me whether I know it or not. So love or right relationship is me taking control, of that relationship, right? So, all right. So sometimes right relationship means we're entering each other's lives. Sometimes it means staying apart, and that's important. Again, sometimes some people are good to be loved from there. For some people, you need to love them from afar. Again, the balance in all I've said here is the fact that as much as we're loving, we're not loving without our senses, right? We're hoping with love, but I love what Maya Angelou would say. When someone shows you their picture the first time, believe it. You're right. It's fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. But we do all of that still under the context of love. And it just means that you differentiate between people that you need to love from near and people that you need to love from far. But you must love regardless. You must never hold anybody in prison in your heart. Nobody's worthy of you to hate that person. Nobody's big enough for you to sell your heart to hate that person, right? You must release people. Some people are meant to be loved from there. Some people are meant to be loved from far. Yeah, but there's never an excuse to hate somebody. That's that's the clarity in that. Let's see if I can close this. What we see as one of us determines whose pain will let into our hearts, right? And that's what we talk about being open. I mean, if you don't see someone as a part of you, then you're not able to take in the pain of that person, but we're all a part of one another. I mean, you can have people like I say, my goddaughter here in Botswana here, I've never met her before. We've never met face to face, right? Yet we share common heart. How did we come together? Because the husband sought counsel, and the husband called me from nowhere, saw my number and needed counsel, came to me, and based on what he said, I has to see the wife, and that's all we've been doing all of this for more than a year now, counseling and all of that, right? And we built a friendship, a relationship, so much so that she sees me as a father, I see her as a daughter, right? But you see, then I can absorb her pain. But we need to see each other like that. There should not be boundaries. We should not see each other as strangers because we come from the same God. Our spirits proceed from the same God. And probably in closing, I'll just share this example here. When I first went to University of Benin, I usually gravitated into the Christian Union because I grew up a conservative person. I see I'm a conservative person, and I flew into Christian Union. Even though I'm a conservative person, I'm free-spirited. I'm not limited to any place, so I got to have friends in everywhere, Christ Embassy, World Foundation, everywhere, So we had a sister that left the Christian Union and joined one of this, not conservative group. And some people saw her as falling from grace to grass, and I fellowship sometimes with some of these groups. And in my young mind, this is back in 85, right? In my young mind, I was just wondering, torn apart, is it two different God, two different Holy Spirit? These people don't see this people as a part of them. These people see this people as fallen. That tore my heart apart, you know. But that's just the infancy, the lack of knowledge, the ignorance that that followed us in those years. Because even today, some of people that are supposedly conservative are going to the church of where they used to say something about, maturity has come to bear, because we've seen that we all come from the same God, right? We all proceed from God, right? And we can see beyond our seeming differences and still love one another, be one. All right, our Mark. Talk about anything you want to ask, anything you want to contribute. I'm going to finish this next week.
Not really, not really.
Really.
It's been an amazing one. Oh, the part that just interested me most, the issue of we coming to understand each other and accept each other no matter what, not seeing others as strangers. And what you just said now, most times we want to see some people somewhere as not being part, but it's the same God we're all serving, and wherever we may be, wherever we find ourselves, we should embrace one another in love. Thank
Yes.
you.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Toba. Thanks for saying that. Yeah. I mean, someone said something that maturity is being able to accept a different opinion in your mind, and still be rational, right? Because someone does not believe the way I believe or what I believe is no reason to hate that person, right? I can accept you doesn't mean I'll believe what you believe. I can accept you doesn't mean I accept what you believe or what you're doing. But I accept you as a human being. I accept you as someone made in the image and likeness of God. I accept you as someone that's worthy of my love. I'm loving you because you are the image and likeness of God. Because to love you is to love God. To love God is to love you, irrespective of what you are doing or not doing. You get?
Yes, yes,
We can see beyond our differences and still love one another. Because I
yes,
love you
yes.
doesn't mean what you are doing. Because I love you doesn't mean I'll be corrupted like you, but I can still love the God inside of you.
Yes.
Pastor Shego has written some things here. I'm going to read it as we close. He says, love is in itself a platform for you to receive all you've been asking from God. We live among angels like men. Procreation began by love. Abraham received by showing love and opening up his band to the strangers he saw walking by. Love is a deep topic and it elongates life, makes life meaningful and worth living. I'm so encouraged to have come to know you and your family, and you've been a blessing ever since we met. I love you once more. God's grace. Thank you, Pastor Shego. I really appreciate you. If you can put this on YouTube, it would be great. Once I shut this